Hello and welcome. As you might know, there was a big announcement and now we know officially that an Asian server will be a thing. Roughly 1 month from now, the beta test is going live and then afterwards, an official release in March. So this matters a lot if you play Albion. It's important to notice how this will impact you as a player, whether you're moving over to the Asian server or if you're staying. Now, first of all, let me preface this by saying I don't have any extra intel. If you are not sure about how certain stuff will work, then please just read the FAQ. I promise you 99.9% of whatever questions you might have are probably answered there already, so link to that is in the description below. So there's a few things to note. First of all, we will have a second fresh start server, and I can only assume the game will be advertised in Asia for the upcoming launch. Now, many people will move because many major guilds based in the Asian time zones have already announced disbanding and moving to the Asian server once it's up. So one thing I will tell you, and this is not financial advice by the way, is that gold prices will go down. I am convinced gold will drop, so if you're hodling a bunch, I would sell most of it. Many Asian players will cash out most of their gold, if not all of it, sell most of their stuff, and quite frankly, most of them will RMT. So that is something to take into account. It will affect the economy. Now, while we're on the topic of RMT, RMT will be very lucrative on this fresh server. Many guilds will push to dominate and win the beta test season, which will be shorter than a normal season. Depending on the country you're from, and this is already the case by the way, people literally live off of selling silver in Albion, especially third world countries where there's not much money to be made. If the ping is not an issue for you, or if you're a crafter or refiner, like if you just play the market, ping is not really an issue for you. So my guess is that due to the high demand of silver and the low supply, there will be a lot of RMT going on. And I'm not saying anything, if you know what I mean, but you know what I mean. So ultimately, what else do we have here? The Asian time zones, which are typically 12 and 15 UTC mostly, those timers will be a lot less active, and in general the player base will drop. So I think SBI might change the distribution of time zones and change some of the, especially 12, maybe some 15 UTC zones, and change them into like 18, 21, 0, 0, 3 time zones, the EU and NA time zones. In general, this time slot around maintenance will be less contested than before, and trust me, it was already pretty dead. Like, I see those 8.4, 7.4 resources being taken for free, whole maps filled with spiders and objectives just not taken because no one's there. The black zone is already empty enough as is, especially during those timers, especially during timers where there's no CTAs. This will make it even worse because after the Mists update, it got even worse. Now it's going to be insanely empty. So perhaps we will see a shrinking of the black zone in the future, which I think is a good idea. Now, don't get me wrong. I think in general, this will heavily benefit two groups. Number one is SBI, because they're gonna make insane amounts of money off of the whales who will buy the Thunder packs. And I already know many people who will buy the most expensive Crystal Founder, whatever the skins you get from that. There's no way that's worth that much money, but people will buy them anyway. Now, I'm not saying SBI doesn't deserve the money, but I'm saying SBI will heavily benefit off of this. There will be an influx of Asian players. Again, I can only assume they're doing their advertisements. Otherwise, it would be pretty silly not to. But either way, they're going to make a lot of money. And number two is the people from Asia who will have lower ping and will be able to enjoy the gameplay without rubber banding and lagging and all the really annoying ping. They will actually be able to enjoy playing weapons with skill shots now. They don't have to play at 300 ping or 250 ping, you know? So the gameplay experience for them will be more enjoyable, and well, I can only say I'm happy for them because they get to play the game normally. There's one group obviously who will lose out and not benefit off of this, which is us, the people who will stay in the main primary server. But assuming they fix the time slots issue, shrink the black zone a little bit, I think it won't be that bad as many people think. But I do think it's interesting that now SBI can't go with the old phrase they used to have, which was basically they advertised the game as a worldwide, only one international server, which I thought was pretty cool at the time. Now it's obviously not a thing. Since the server will be based in Singapore, by the way, it's not that bad for the EU folks who are considering trying it out though, because your ping is gonna be pretty shit anyway. especially if you live more towards the eastern side of Europe. I think, quite frankly, that is one thing I will try out. Fresh start on the Asian server because I think it might be fun to see the infancy stages of an Albion world. I think it would be pretty cool. I think it will be pretty interesting. I'll try to do some 10v10 speedrun from a fresh account, maybe something like that. Who knows? I think it will be pretty fun to try it out. One thing I will say though, I love the fact that this game was international and has been so far because I met a lot of cool people. I made some good friends from Asia that I would not have met otherwise in my time playing this game. And that's kind of closed off now because, I won't be able to meet people from there. Again, I don't mind. For me personally, it's not that big of a deal. It's a benefit for most others, so I don't mind. But I'm curious what your guys' thoughts on this are. I'm sure there's stuff I missed, some other consequences that I haven't thought of or seen other people say. So yeah, leave a comment below. Is SBI being greedy? Will this kill the game by splitting the player base? Hopefully not, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one.